Hey guys, Troy again. It's pen mail time. Wanted to share with you my latest acquisition. Just got it in the mail just a little bit ago and had to sign for it with the postman. So I was expecting this one from Bulgaria. Yep, that's where I ordered it from. And first, public service announcement for anybody who's going to ship a pen. Especially if you're going to send it all the way from like Eastern Europe to the United States, okay? You can put bubble wrap all around a pen all you want, and that's fine. And it came in this tube, but, put a little bit of bubble wrap in either end so you don't get this. All the way from Bulgaria to the United States. Come on. Just a little common sense public service announcement. And that's literally how it showed up. It showed up not with a pen in the cellophane wrapper, but with the tube inside the cellophane wrapper, like this. This is how it showed up. Okay. It wouldn't have been so bad if you put the pen inside the cellophane wrapper and put the pen inside the tube, but this is how it showed up. So the camera doesn't really show it very well, but this has actually got a lot of green swirl in it. This is, a plastic pen. You can smell it. And for those of you who are familiar with pens from India, you kind of, or noodlers even, and you get that smell to that pen, that's what this pen has, is the exact same kind of smell that you would find on a pen from India or from noodlers. So it is a Rekord, R-E-K-O-R-D, and I can show you a picture of that, but at least that's what it is here. Pretty bland on the cap face and on the bottom. So this is a Rekord model number 66, circa 1961, so I am told. At least that's how it was sold to me by the seller on eBay. So you've got the cap band here. It is a twist to open, and you've got a semi-hooded nib. I'll show you the bottom. And you get a nice ink window, and this is a piston filler. Now, when this first showed up, I went to go open it up. This thing had a hard time even budging, and I really had to put a little gorilla grip on this thing to get the blind cap to turn. But finally got it going, and you can tell, look, listen to that. This is kind of tough. And click, 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 and this thing comes right off like that. So, I mean, that's how it came to me, like that. So you put this thing back on, and it goes on easy enough, and you can, you're down over the rod, and then you've got that. But I got it moving earlier. There we go. So I got the piston moving, but I'm having problems with that. So I'm gonna fuss with it a little bit and see if I can get it to move correctly. So there we go. I got the piston down. It probably needs a little bit of grease in it. I haven't figured out how to grease this sucker up yet, but anyway, at least I got the piston where it can move. The pen seems mighty clean, so obviously they did a good cleaning job before they sent it to me. I haven't seen any evidence that there was some ink residue. So let me look. Doggone it! This is just irritating to me. I've got some communist pens. I've got some pens from Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia area. I've got some Russian-made pens. One of the things that you're going to find from the 1960s, there were actually some very nice pens that were made in Europe. This ain't one of them. So, from a communist bloc country, I didn't expect a whole lot, and you know what? I didn't get a whole lot. So, and doggone, look at that. And you twist, okay, now I got the piston to come up, and so I'm just a little bit baffled by this. So obviously the pen is inferior or broken, but I'm going to see still if I can get this thing inked up and I can actually get it to write. Because I can get the piston to move when I'm able to get in here and get it set. So I'm going to play with it, and obviously this is not going to cooperate very well. So, but you see, I got the piston plunger to come out, and we'll see if I can get this thing greased up just a little bit, see if I can get it to operate a little more smoothly. And then if I can do that, we'll see about filling it and coming back with a writing sample. Alright, I'm back, and I managed to get the piston to work a whole lot better than it was. So I've got it filled with some ink. You can probably see here I've got a blue ink sloshing around inside of there. I just used a simple Thornton's blue that I use from time to time. So I got some blue ink, and you can see that I've been trying to get it to write here for a little bit. And it's writing a lot better than it did at first, because I had like nothing at all writing for a while. So even after filling it through the nib, I was really still having a problem at first. And you can see I got ink blobs because I was shaking it, trying to get some ink, and ink would blot out and hit the paper, but I was really having a hard time getting it to put out ink. So finally, after working with the nib a little bit, and I had to actually do some bending on the nib just a little bit to give it a little more space, and I started to get some ink flow to it. So, alright. So let me show you a little bit about what this pen can do. It does post. I mean, if you're into communist pens, I gotta be honest. When I ordered this, all right, I knew it was from Bulgaria. I mean, it was from a Stalinist Balkan country from the 1960s while under communist rule. I don't expect a whole lot of fantastic quality from Eastern Europe. Although they are now part of the European Union, and now they are officially a republic form of government. But back in the 1960s, they were Soviet dominated. At the end of World War II, towards the end of World War II, they wouldn't get rid of or try to expel Nazis from their country, so the Soviets declared war on them, and they basically had a lot of Soviet influence right up through from 1944 right up through like the 1980s or so. So anyway, so let's see what I can do as far as getting this thing to write. So, so a Bulgarian Rekord, R-E-K-O-R-D, record. You can see that this nib still skips an awful lot. It's going to really require a lot of work. It's very scratchy. I know I've got some tipping material. I haven't looked at tine alignment on this thing just yet. I was more focused on even trying to get it to write for a while. So as it is, it's very scratchy. And it skips. But you can get some line variation. Look at that. Look at the difference between this right here and that right there. So, in this cheap steel hooded nib, even with a semi-hooded nib, you can still get some line variation. Once you give it a lot of pressure, it's going to write a whole lot better. So this is just going to require some work, I think, on my end in order to get this thing to write very successfully. But, it's a lot better now than it was when I first started playing with it, because I didn't get anywhere. And I can tell you now that knob, that piston knob, now works a whole lot better than it did. Took a little bit of work and some unconventional methodology, but I now have the piston going up and down pretty well. I actually was able to take some needle nose and hold on to that piston rod, and I was able to get some lubricant in there, let it sink in for a little bit. I was able to get it to go in and out, in and out, in and out, and get that worked in. So that much is done. Now the knob still doesn't fit really, really well, but at least I've got it lubricated and I've got it operational compared to what it was, and I got it so it will fill, and as you can see here. So I know that there are people out there who really like communist pens, Eastern Bloc pens, European pens. Don't expect the same kind of quality that you're going to see from Western Europe, more industrialized nations like Germany or Italy, that kind of thing. When you start talking Balkan, when you're talking Czech, when you're talking Bulgarian, even Russian, you're not going to get anywhere near the quality. Communist countries just don't typically produce as good a quality as you're used to seeing in something like your Pelicans, your Mont Blancs, and names like or Delta, or stuff like that you would see coming out of like Italy or Germany. So anyway, and even England. I mean, because England had some good pens as well. But your more industrialized countries. So the communist countries, I kind of didn't expect a whole lot out of this pen. So I really wasn't surprised when it didn't work well, especially from the 1960s. Circa 1961, so I'm told, was this particular pen. Didn't know what kind of quality it was when it was manufactured, because I'm not familiar with the brand all that much. And quite honestly, too, knowing it was coming from a communist nation, not knowing how long this sat around untouched, unmaintained, don't know. So I kind of had low expectations, and those low expectations were pretty much fulfilled as performance thus far. So I may take some more time and work on it and try to get the nib to work a little bit better, try to get it right a little bit better, maybe some tine alignment, maybe some smoothing, and see how it goes. But typically that's not all that dissimilar from other experiences with some other pens that I've gotten from that have been Bulgarian or Czech in Soviet thus far. So the Rekord 1961 era piston filler model number 66. So that's what I got for you. This was pen mail today, so you saw how it wrote just out of the chute here. Just got it today, filled it up, so I figured I'd share it with you. Obviously, this is not a full review. I'm just sharing my pen mail, and so just ideas for your collection, or if you're considering looking at some kind of Eastern Balkan communist pens from times past.